a confirmed officer down 1980 Park Avenue.
Monday, March 16th. This is Fischer, and you're listening to In Your Face with Fischer, where as always, the truth and the Constitution don't give a damn about your feelings, and neither do I. Welcome to the show. We got a lot of news today. We got a lot of important stuff to cover. Main news topic today is, as it's been, the Kung Fu flu, otherwise known as the coronavirus. We are on day 3 of our 30-day quarantine here at In Your Face with Fischer. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Day 3. So what do you know? Here in Indiana, we've had our first death from the coronavirus. 65 or 60 over 60-year-old man passed. His spouse was also infected with the disease. We do have information for you all that everybody's probably going to want to know, especially those with kids at home. Let's cover that news first here in LaPorte. They had taken all the school lunches, from what I'm hearing, to the Civic Auditorium here in LaPorte from 11 to 1. You can drive up in your car. You do not get out of your car. You drive up in your car. Do not get out. There will be two people to approach your car in fully protective gear, and they will count the children in your car, and each child will get 2 meals. We know that some children in our community, sometimes that's the only time they get a meal is when they're in school, and now that we're not having school, some kids aren't getting the food that they need. So that's 11 to 1, if I'm correct, at the Civic Auditorium here in LaPorte. Again, you drive up, you roll down your window, 2 people will approach your car. They're in protective gear. They count the children in your car, and each child gets, I believe, 2 meals, or 2 meals per child. Also, I've heard, and maybe somebody can call in and let us know, that in Kingsford Heights, at the school in Kingsford Heights, I heard that they're having some kind of food drive. So, if anybody's in Kingsford Heights, if they could call in when that time comes in the show and let us know, I'm sure people will appreciate the information. We're asking if you're listening to share this broadcast with your friends, family, have them tune in now, because we're going to go over all the information that we have right now from the state and from the federal government as far as the Corona Task Force. So we've had several more tests. I believe we are up to what is the number, Justin? What are we up to infected here? It seemed to jump this morning. I believe it's 25. We'll look that up for you. I don't want to give you any wrong information when it comes to this. Let's see here. Dude, we had 19. Hold on one second. I'm sorry about the pause here, but this how you know we're live and we're unscripted. We have to look this stuff ourselves. Look this stuff up ourselves sometimes. I looked it up earlier, but I forgot the number. If you could find that for me, Justin, I'd appreciate it. Anyway, I'm going to go on. You know it's an epidemic in LaPorte County when the bars shut down. So we're there. Bars are closed and restaurants except for takeout orders and delivery. You people that are doing the deliveries, be careful out there. Guys, I know that it don't seem like much right now, but it's better to be on the side of caution than it is to be wrong. You want to be on the right side of this. You know what? In 2 months, we may be sitting back going, man, boy, we really overreacted. We were a bunch of fools. But you know what? I'm okay with being that kind of fool. As long as it's, we're safe and no one is losing life. I'll always go on the side of safety than to risk anything. I mean, I don't want to risk getting anyone else sick. So, I mean, if, not working for a few days is going to help people out, then, well, you know what? We're in this together, guys. And that's what this show is all about. If we're here to talk, we're here to give you information, to talk to you, and, they're even talking about, the governor gave a speech today about closing bars, restaurants, and everything. How many is there? 24 cases in Indiana now. And, and it don't sound that bad, people. As far, but as we said yesterday, we have not begun testing. We've only had 130 some tests done on Hoosiers thus far. I think that our local and state governments are making the right moves here. Again, I'm telling parents that, hey, your kids are home from school, not to run the streets, not to go to the movie show, not to spend night with other kids, but to, stay away. You don't want to, and I realize that people are under this assumption that kids can't get it. Well, kids can get it. Children have died from this, but even so, they can carry it, and everyone knows somebody with a underlying medical condition or an elderly person. And you know what? We don't want to transfer that to anyone. The health administrator of LaPorte, of the state of Indiana, also said, many of you may think that we're overreacting, but I assure you we are not. Do not be mistaken. We are in war with COVID-19, the Kung Fu flu. That's a quote from him. So, you know what? I have to listen to the experts. I can't listen to my fellow Facebook biochemists that are self-proclaimed. I have to believe what these people are telling me. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to open up telephone line. The number is going to be up on the screen here in a second. It is 219-380-9918. Again, 219-380-9918. If you have any information that you'd like to share, if anybody from Kingsford Heights has any information on, or anywhere in LaPorte, about food pantries, about where people can pick up food, or kids that are home from school can get lunch. Now, we're not saying to get together as a group. We're just talking about getting them something to eat. So if you have any information on that, give us a call. If you have any questions, if you disagree with anything that we're saying, feel free to call up. We're not the left. We're not going to scream and yell over top of you. We want to hear your point of view. That's why we're here. We're here to talk to you. We're here to throw ideas back and forth. If you have any information that we haven't covered, you have any questions, I would ask that you give us a call and let us know. We do have a person in the medical field that I was supposed to message, but I'm just going to say, hey, come on and get on the line and give us a call. That would be Kim. She's been working with us the last couple days. She works in the medical field. She's given us some help as far as things we can do, and give us more information that the CDC is giving these doctors, these medical people in the medical field, with the information that they're given. So, Kim, if you want to give us a call, go ahead and give us a call now. The number again is 219-380-9918. Until then, we were right yesterday. Donald Trump, the Federal Reserve, working with the Federal Reserve, they lowered the interest rate down to about 0%. So we called that yesterday. Guys, one thing I want to get out there is we need to use our head. We don't need to be losing our cool. We talked about the toilet paper situation yesterday with Steve. We need to use our heads, but we also need to be prepared. Again, this may come to nothing. I don't know. I look at China's numbers, and I think 80,000 people infected in that time. Oh, hold on one second. Kim, hold on one second, please.
Yes.
I look at the numbers and I think 80,000 killed or infected, and I look at how they are, the population is so smashed together in these big cities, and I think to myself, boy, that ain't a lot of people for how many people are over there. So hopefully it comes to nothing. But then again, I don't want to understate it, because you know what? If one of your family members is within that 80,000, it's a big deal to you. Just like we talked with Austin yesterday, is, you know what? It's insignificant, 12,000 deaths, but if your family member was in that group of 12,000 deaths, it's not too insignificant for you. All right, we're going to go with Kim. Kim's on the line. Kim is works in the medical field. She has connections that normal people just don't have without going to the doctor. She's agreed to help us out during this time, give us information that we might not otherwise have. But Kim, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Kim, what do you have for us today? Did you get any information from the CDC today?
Well, I got a lot of information from them.
What are they saying?
You were asking about the incubation period on it.
I heard now that it's 4 days. If you're not showing symptoms after 4 days, you're pretty much safe. That's what I'm hearing. Is that true?
No, it is 8 days.
8 days.
8 days you cannot show symptoms and actually be a carrier or actually have the disease.
So up
to 8-day incubation.
All right, so we're talking about incubation period of the Kung Fu flu. It is up to 8 days. You can get the symptoms or be asymptomatic.
Yes.
All right. For people that don't know what asymptomatic is, can you let us know what asymptomatic means?
Asymptomatic means that you're not showing signs or symptoms of the disease, but you can be a carrier or have the disease.
Now, the thing to remember, people, is that there have been people that have been asymptomatic, show no signs, and still have died from this disease. I heard that today from the WHO, World Health Organization, I believe, Kim?
Yes, that's what it is.
All right. Any other information you can give us on what we should do, what we can do to keep ourselves safe?
Right now they're saying that it's a 80% mild disease cases with a 2% mortality rate.
That is a terrible percentage for mortality rate. That is 2% is huge. What is the mortality rate on the flu? Do you know what that is?
Offhand, I don't.
I don't even believe it's 1%. I believe it's well under 1%. 2% is astronomical. If you figure in, if the infection rate is as high as they're estimating it's going to be, so 1% of a million is 100,000. That's a lot of people. I heard at one point they're talking that if we do nothing right now, their model shows that if we reach the peak in July and start taking care of it, that a third of the United States would come down with it. That's a little over 100 million. Now, 100 million, I mean, if it's 2% of over 100 million, that would be devastating for not only our country, but the world. Any other information that you have from the CDC?
Oh, Mike, there's loads of information here, buddy.
What are you doing? What are our and you know what? Let's give the shout out again. And we're all praying for those people in the medical field that sacrifice themselves to help people like us. Remember, guys, when we get sick, we depend on these people. If they don't stay healthy, who do we have to take care of us? I mean, we depend a lot on these people, and it's times like this that we depend upon these physicians and people in the medical field. So make sure to pray for these people daily and to keep them in your thoughts and prayers. What are you guys doing at health facilities to protect yourselves, maybe to help people out, on their own at home?
Right now what we are doing is we are advising that, like, hospital release patients stay put, don't come in for follow-up right now because they've already got compromised immune systems. If it's just regular follow-ups and stuff, we're sending and rescheduling those patients a month out. We ask questions when they call in to make appointments of different symptoms that would arise with this. When they do come in and schedule the appointment.
Let's go over these symptoms. First of all, it's not like a normal cold or anything. I've heard that there's not a runny nose, and it is a dry cough with a sore throat, but you're not coughing up. When I say dry cough, I mean you're not coughing up anything. We have to
it's a dry cough.
And if you do get sick, Kim, I want to tell the listeners that if you do get sick, don't freak out, because it is flu season and it is cold season, and a lot of people that are coming in, tell me if I'm incorrect, they just got the flu or a cold.
Or it could be just a plain upper respiratory.
Yeah, so
Sinus. I mean, there's different things that are going around at this current time. And
it is the season.
Yeah, it's the season for the stuff. It's people that are having shortness of breath, the dry cough, fevers over 103 that are not going down with medications at home. They can be having some symptomatic chest pain with it because it is respiratory.
Yep.
These are all questions that we are asking ahead of time when they're making these appointments.
So the best thing right now, people, if you're not showing symptoms, if it's not a life-threatening thing, believe it or not, these the people in the medical profession put themselves at risk, because one of the most dangerous places to be, not only during a pandemic, but just regular time, as far as staff and all these infections and communicable disease, is a medical establishment, a hospital, an emergency room. Am I wrong saying that, Kim?
Well, you don't want to overcrowd the ERs, though, because they're seeing lots of patients themselves with this. That's why we're trying to scan in as many as we can at the facilities to test them there, because we did get 30 tests in, I believe it was today.
All right.
So we are testing actively at our center.
Okay.
It takes 2 to 4 days for results.
Do you want to know? Do you want to tell what center, or no? Would you rather not to say what center?
Preferably not.
Okay, we're not going to say that then.
Yeah.
But call ahead of time, no matter where you are. Let them know your symptoms. They will get a hold of the CDC, correct? If you are,
yes, we are.
They will get a hold of the CDC. And then they will make a decision on what they are going to do with you in your case. Again, 80% is mild. Is that what you're hearing, Kim?
It's the mild, yes.
All right. What we have to understand, too, is people have had this, I believe, and didn't even know they had it. They thought they had a cold.
Well, and this is not coming from the CDC, but what I'm in question of with this is back in November, if people recall, people were coming down with symptoms similar to this, and they were having it prolonged for 2 to 3 weeks at a time.
I had
this had originally been the start.
I told viewers or listeners about my family months ago, and it was around that time, October, November. I had the worst sickness I have ever had in my life, and it was all respiratory. I have never hurt. I have never been so weak. I had a headache, a dry cough, couldn't get nothing up. That I think we've had it already. I mean, but as we said yesterday, the best thing to do right now is stay home if you can. Is that correct, Kim?
Yes.
Stay home if you can. Don't panic. Call your physicians. Give them your symptoms, and they will let you know what to do. Correct?
Yes.
Another
thing I want to throw out there, Mike.
What was
with
that?
The elderly community. Another thing I would like to throw out there with your elderly community. If you have elderly people around you, by all means, people, check on them. See if there's anything they need from the store. They should not be going out if they've got compromised health.
And that goes for any age compromised immune systems.
Right.
Well,
I mean, basically the elderly, because you really don't want the elderly with compromised health out in those situations.
We don't want
to people to check on them.
We don't want to scare anybody in this. But it is time to be awake. It's time to, let's. Kim, I was talking to somebody who's been an older person, and they said they've been alive for 70-some years, and they said they have never seen this in their life. Wouldn't you rather our government overreact than underreact?
Well, the way things are going, yeah. I mean, you've got to have the precautions. You've got to get in front of it before it gets to a pandemic situation. And
as we know, it has been classified as a pandemic. We are under, I believe Trump is taking the right steps as far as calling a state of emergency. That way he can get these, like the medical facility that Kim is at, they can get their tests, they can get their supplies faster and without question. How many test kits did you have before today?
We had no test kits on site.
None on site. So see, people, you're hearing 24 are infected. You can't confirm anything without a test. And there's only been 130 some. So I'm expecting, and you can write this down, I'm predicting that with these tests, we're going to see that number go through the roof. I mean, I don't know what your guys' projections are showing, or if you even know. But
yeah, they haven't come out with it yet.
But if you could keep us informed of what you're hearing. I mean, we're, like I said, we don't want to put fear in people, but sometimes it's healthy we're people. When it's unknown, it's scary. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way. I mean, you guys are having to face this every day when someone comes in, or you have to deal with people that are infected. And I just want to tip my hat to you and all your colleagues and tell you we're thankful for you, and we hope you guys stay safe, and we'll be praying for all of you.
We got our supplies in as far as our gowns, our masks, our gloves, our goggles. I mean, we are taking our drastic measures.
That's awesome. And for us, best thing is to stay home if you can. Eat at home. You know what? The bars may be shut down. Restaurants may be closed, but you know what ain't closed? Your family, talking, reading a book, listening to our show. We're going to be on the air every day during our 30-day quarantine. Kim's going to be here to give information, and believe me, if you know Kim, she ain't going to lie to you. She's going to give it to you blunt. Yeah, she's a bitch like that. Sometimes you
But
want
he
it,
still loves me.
but we don't want a candy coating on it. If we know what's going on, we can prepare for it. And as we've been saying since the beginning, where there's preparation, there is no fear. There is no panic. There may be fear, but there is no panic. So, best thing we can do right now is if you need to go out grocery shopping, go in. Keep the distance, correct? What's the distance you're supposed to be from another individual, Kim?
6 foot.
See, I heard that 6 foot rule was ineffective and that they're calling 10 foot now. But basically, just
still at 6, Mike.
socially distance yourself from people. The shaking hands, this ridiculous tradition that we've stuck with since the medieval times, stupid. Stop shaking people's hands. It's do you know how many sicknesses we could stay away from if we just stopped shaking hands? I mean, I gave the statistics on people that wash their hands after they go to the bathroom, and man, it's not good. When only 5% of the people in the United States are washing their hands after they take a dump, I doubt they're washing their hands after they touch a surface. So you can't count on the other person to keep you safe. So we're in this together, but sometimes you've got to take the measures to keep yourself safe. Anyway, Kim, we will, as long as you're willing, and I know you guys are working long hours and tend to be overwhelmed, but as long as you're able to give us a call, we'd appreciate you calling, give us information.
All right. I will keep you posted.
All right, and tell Harry we said hi.
All right.
All right, thank you so much, Kim. You have a great day.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was Kim. She works in the medical field. Let's see here. I got some messages up here. Ed Beeman, we miss you, buddy. Gave us a thumbs up. There's one guy that if he has something to say, you really want to open up your ears and listen, because you're going to hear something that's probably going to blow your mind. Same with Joe Novak. I'm wondering if either one of them are out there and they want to call in. They're usually on our crew, but with this 30-day quarantine that we're on, we are staying away from each other and just being on the safe side, guys. You need to realize that the governor was talking about a 90-day isolation period. We need to prepare for that. We need to understand that sometimes the best thing we can do is stay away from each other. But thank God we're in the age that we are with the technology that, hey, we can still talk to our family members that are far away or down the road. There's Skype, there's FaceTime, there's all these things that we can use to see each other. I know that don't replace an embrace, but that is better than what we used to have when I was a kid. I mean, if you were away from your family, you were away from your family. You didn't see them. You could call them on the phone, and that's about it. But now you can, with the technology, you can see them. Well, guess who's calling in? Our buddy Joe. I guess he's at work, and he has plenty of time to talk to us, so let's see what he has to say. Mr. Joe.
Hey.
Hey, you're on the air, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. I was listening on the headphones. I'm like, I didn't hear it ringing. He kept yakking, and they were saying hello. I'm like, what?
Yeah, we got a delay here. I don't know why, because we don't bleep nothing.
Yeah.
So how you doing today?
I'm all right.
All right. Now, how are we feeling about this situation? Any change in your mind? Let me tell the listeners again, if they don't normally listen to us.
Interesting thing. I think I was telling you earlier about.
Well, hold on, Joe. Let me catch these people up. Joe never listens to me. If these people don't normally listen to our show, they need to know that Joe is our residential conspiracy theorist, and which we all are.
Crown.
We are. Anytime you hear this, you know Joe's on the line.
Yeah. Well, you hear what? I didn't hear it.
It's playing right now. Can you hear that?
No.
Well, shut your hole and listen. No, maybe not. Oh, yeah, you can't hear it because you're not listening. All right.
Right, yeah.
Anyway.
I took my headphones off because
of the delay.
it was the delay and all that was screwing me up. So
sorry, guys. We're live and I'm an idiot, so we're going to have to deal with that. But Joe is a follower of Q. Now, don't discredit him because of that. Don't say, oh, I'm not going to listen to him. Because a lot of things with Q seem more than coincidence. But with Joe, he don't believe that this is even real. Am I correct in saying that, Joe?
I don't know about that.
All right, I'm wrong again.
I mean, there's. I think it's mostly hype.
Mostly hype.
Yeah,
and you know what? I was talking about that just a minute ago. I look at China's numbers and I look how many people live in China, and they got a infection rate of 80,000, a little over 80,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying you can believe the communist machine. So it could be well over that. I don't know.
Not just the communist machine. You can't believe the media anywhere.
That is a fact.
Or whoever does the numbers, because the numbers always benefit them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like 98% chance Hillary Clinton's going to win. What happened to that? You know?
That makes me giggle. So it's always good.
If you ever saw one of them videos where it starts out, yeah, Hillary's going to win, then at the end, and and they're calling the stage for Donald, and all the people start getting long faces, then in the end, they're all crying, and it's like,
yeah,
wrong.
But they manipulate the numbers, because if you believe 98% of the world feels that way, you kind of tend to lean that way automatically. You know what I mean? So they use numbers to control the masses.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, they do. They always have. What do you feel?
And they use words, the way they word things, carefully word things. Civil asset forfeiture. That's the government stealing from you. You know, it's.
Oh yeah.
They don't charge you or nothing. Just grab it and they walk away.
My question to you is: have you heard that Trump's to blame for the Kung Fu flu? That's what the media is saying right now. Is he's to blame? It always goes back to politics, don't it, Joe?
Mm-hmm. That's why they play these games, in the first place.
Did Trump cause the Kung Fu flu? That is the question. If you think he did, you're probably
wrong.
That is correct. All right. So tell everybody what your theory is.
Well, I think it's a tool. It's so you don't see what's going on in the background, all the stuff in the background. I believe, and because it's interesting, because I thought there'd be no way they would shut the steel mill down.
Yeah,
but they were talking about putting a plan together to shut the steel mill down.
Now that's a big deal because they have to keep the furnaces going, correct?
Right. And of course, it's just a plan. I mean, because
you never know what's going to happen.
But if they start shutting things down one at a time and making everybody go home, essentially that's martial law.
Oh yeah.
And
they're
like, you don't notice anybody that's sick right now, but this is to prevent people from getting sick.
No, I there's something I don't understand. These restaurants and bars can have carry-out orders but from my understanding, They closed down the bars. They're closing down the bars in Indiana, restaurants. I believe it's California, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, and Kentucky that they're doing this. I think it's a good call. You're going to disagree with me.
The other thing I saw was that apparently in LaPorte County,
yeah,
the sheriff has stopped the paperwork or something for buying weapons or something like that.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I saw.
Yes.
I saw a post on Facebook, and it was about Valparaiso that you couldn't buy ammunition at the Walmart. I haven't heard nothing like that, but then again, that's Facebook news.
Yeah. I was saying that today. Well, somebody had messaged me from the Libertarian Party and said that the sheriff in LaPorte, LaPorte County Sheriff, has stopped. I forget how it was worded, but the applications for paperwork or what. It's probably they do background checks or I don't know what they do, but has stopped the paperwork for buying weapons. And I was telling that to somebody here at work, and they said, "Yeah." He goes, "Because I know they stopped in Illinois. They stopped all the weapon sales and stuff." But this guy was saying that he knows somebody that was up at like Bass Pro today.
Yeah. And
he said there was lines for people to buy weapons, and they're like handing out numbers and stuff.
Oh, really?
I'm like, wow. It's like, so all the toilet paper's gone, and all the weapons are flying off the shelves. Like, what's that all about?
I believe the best thing to stock up on is not toilet paper, but ammo.
Yeah. I'm gonna be sick, so I better get toilet paper and guns. Like,
Hey, we're here, and Joe is a strong advocate of Joe is a co-founder with Austin, who's supposed to be in here but isn't. Austin, if you're listening, if you could come in here, I'd appreciate talk to you. But they are the creators of the Second Amendment in Northwest Indiana on Facebook. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And
Austin pretty much found it, and I jumped in at the early steps there.
You're riding Austin's coattails.
Yep, you're right. I am I'm supporting my nephew, man.
Yeah, there you go. Austin, if I said yesterday that, I ain't going to ask Austin for medical advice, but if I have any question about the Second Amendment, he'll probably be the first one I go to. So, we are big Second Amendment supporters.
Why wouldn't you ask Austin about medical advice? I mean, prime. just as much as giving me.
Yeah, if anybody knows Austin, somebody who cuts off their big toe with a lawnmower, I'm not going to ask medical advice from. So, sorry, Austin. I love you, buddy. But yeah, so you think that this is hype? There's nothing behind it.
I think the flu epidemic is behind it. And I don't know about corona and all that, but I think it's blown way out of proportion to use.
You mentioned federal indictments. Yesterday.
Was it yesterday I was telling you I was looking?
Here's go ahead and go back over that. Hold on. Go ahead and go back over that for us, Joe. And I have a few questions about that because it is interesting. And we know the person that's in Amsterdam, or not Amsterdam, but Australia, who says they have the coronavirus. Why is that significant? The man who died, who broke that news. Let's get into that for a little bit. Let's let people know why you believe what you believe about the hype behind the coronavirus and the that this has more to do with indictments than it does actual pandemic. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I noticed myself, actually. I noticed about, it was September 2018, I started noticing people talking about sealed indictments, and they were up to around 60,000 at that time. But there's only 1,000 sealed indictments in the country at any one time. It was November 2017, they started writing 5,000 sealed indictments a month. And I, caught on to this about September 2018. I've been following that stuff. But, when the numbers, at the time I thought, 60,000 or whatever, that's getting up there, and they're going to have to start arresting these people. And people were speculating, and things would happen, and it's like, they're going to have martial law, and people were saying, when they arrest these people, there's going to be martial law. He says, so everybody better stock up on supplies and be ready to, be in your home, and all the work and businesses closing and stuff. And they've been saying this for like a year and a half, but the number's just been going up and up and up and up. Yesterday, I told you the number was 151,000. I looked today; it's 157,600 and something.
Wow!
It's a jump. But the number of indictments that have been unsealed is, I think it was 1,800.
Wow! And
which has gone up.
In what time frame?
Well, yesterday the sealed indictments that were unsealed were 7,500.
Wow!
So it's jumped up 1,200 that were unsealed since yesterday.
Oh wow!
But you got to figure too, though. This guy.
So how do you mix this in with the pandemic? What are you saying?
Just strange things like that. Whatever the police incident was in LaPorte, where they closed off 18th Street around Highway 35, and that's all I've heard is it's a police incident.
Right. And what if we find out that was just punk kids selling weed that they chased down and arrested? What does that's not a federal indictment.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm saying.
Well, like I say, I do know that. I'm trying to figure that name of that town that's down there by Franz Park. It was I think it was the mayor that they hauled off.
Does any of our listeners know what Joe's talking about? What is it, Franz Park?
Yeah, there's a city around Franz Park. I can't remember the name of the city, but they had arrested.
Hey, Malik, is there any way you could type me what cities around Franz Park? I know you get around. If you could type us a message up here.
There was another one where they arrested. It was the police chief or something that was
the kiddie porn, correct?
No, this one he was giving himself. Oh, I know what it was. I think it was the police chief, or maybe it was the fire chief, or somebody in the city also owned school buses, and they were renting school buses to the.
Is it Logansport?
Corporation.
Is it Logansport?
No, that wasn't it. I don't think.
Wrong.
I don't think that was them.
Oh, I wish I had my Trump thing up. But I don't.
But and the other thing was that there was another city that was down Cedar County, down by Indianapolis, where the FBI was charging people for civil asset forfeiture. They were busting people, taking money and assets and stuff, and just using it for themselves.
Yeah.
And they said so it was like $800,000 that they had taken and were using it for themselves to give themselves pay raises or something.
Well, that just sounds like normal government to me.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that how often does that stuff get busted? You know what I mean?
Never.
Yeah.
But here's my question for you, Joe. How can...
Yeah.
Who do you think's doing this? Who do you think's shutting this stuff down and getting these indictments and unsealing them and arresting these people? Who's behind it?
Donald Trump and who's ever working with him.
My question is, and I respect all your point of view. I respect your point of view, but my question is, Donald Trump can't shut down China. Donald Trump can't
No.
shut down Italy.
No.
Donald Trump.
No, that's why I said. That's why I said the people that are working with him.
So you think
when he came into office,
as hated
when he
as
came into
Donald
office,
Trump is, and he's not hated by me, and he's not hated by you,
right,
but he is hated by other countries. You believe they're following his go-to with this crooked as these other nations are, not to mention our own.
No, I think that the leaders of these other countries, it's I believe it's military worldwide or good guys worldwide. I mean, because this whole coronavirus thing in Italy and stuff like that.
I feel like Italy's the only one telling the truth, and that's including. I mean, I look at our nation and I go, man,
I think they're busting people in Italy. I think they're busting people in Italy. You know, a while back when different things were going on, a lot of the politicians like Nancy Pelosi and some of them were flying back out to Italy for some reason.
Yeah.
And so was Pompeo. And I know it was back in October, the end of October, they raided the financial office and the financial chief or whatever of the Vatican.
Yes.
They raided their office and they carried out boxes of documents and electronic devices and stuff, they said.
All right.
And it was, and supposedly it was on land deals, like they were laundering money through land deals. And you know, the Catholic Church is the largest landholder in the world, you know.
Of course, yeah. And do the most cover up. And they're good at it.
Yeah.
And they're good at it.
That's why I think the deep state's big in Italy, you know.
And I'll tell you one thing, and to our listeners, before, and it's nice to take a break off of the worrisome part of the coronavirus or the Kung Fu flu, and to really talk about other things and other possibilities. I mean, it just it relaxes me. It does. I mean, it relaxes me. I mean, because you know what, Joe, I'm not afraid to say, you know, I'm a little nervous about the whole thing because you don't know. You don't know. I don't know. All I can do is give the information I'm told. And at this point, I can listen to my friends and I can hear your opinion. And if it makes sense to me, I can go with it. But really at this point, I mean, you helped me with my electrical in my house. Why? Because I don't know nothing about electrical. You know, and I have to trust those that have went to school for and are educated in these fields. And at this point, I feel like I have no choice but to listen to those that are educated biologists, and they're telling me, you know, they're really telling me nothing. I have no answers, but they're telling me it's fucking dangerous. And you know what? They say don't panic, but you're telling everybody, man, over 1 million Americans could be dead within a few months.
You know what though? I've heard the same exact speech with, you know, avian, Zika, you know,
swine flu,
Ebola, swine flu, bird flu.
Why do you think
with the West Nile virus? You remember that one?
Is it
everyone's dying in the country from mosquitoes, and you should panic and run. You know.
Is it that what is it causing Americans to panic like they are?
They're humans.
Exactly. I mean, can you tell me you're not nervous at all about this?
Yep, I can.
You're not nervous at all?
Not about the part about getting sick and all that, you know?
What's your worst concern?
You know, it's things shutting down and bills and stuff like that, but, you know, there's... Because you know about the whole scam with the financial reserve and all that. We've been over that, but...
Yeah.
That's coming to an end one way or another. Even if nobody does anything about it, it's going to crash because you can't. It's not sustainable. So I think this is kind of it's a controlled crash right now. It's a controlled crash, and I think we might be going through that right now.
Dave Malik, we have a listener, Dave Malik, who just said it's the media. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I want to believe that our people are smart enough to know that the media is a bunch of dumbasses. They're lying.
Not just that they're dumbasses, but they're bought their own. They're doing their job. They're misinforming.
All you have to do is look at the morning's Media Matters highlights from Media Matters, and you go to every other news source, and they're repeating word for word what Media Matters puts out. Leftist-run organization. I mean, it might as well.
Yeah,
go ahead.
If you follow the media, if you don't follow the media, you're uninformed. If you do follow the media, you're misinformed.
That's a fact.
You know?
That's a fact.
So what would you rather be, uninformed or misinformed?
Yeah, there were your choices.
You got to look someplace else. Yeah, you got to look deep, you know? And then there's still misinformation out there that you got to be careful that you don't fall for, you know?
Yep.
And it's really hard to pick through.
What happens?
Especially when there's things that you want to believe that are there, but then you find out later, I was believing that and it's bullshit, you know?
I was just asked what happens every snowstorm. I don't know. What happens every snowstorm? Because I've never been in a snowstorm. I've never gone to the store after a snowstorm, and the shelves were totally wiped out with no food. I have never in my life seen in the United States where shelves were just empty.
Yeah.
Especially something that we only have one death from.
Yeah.
I mean, well, let's put it in perspective, people. Yes, we've only had 130 some tests done. I believe the number's going to go up when they start doing the testing. If it don't, great. I hope Joe's right. But here's my point: is that we do only have one confirmed case of death from this in our state.
Yeah, and who confirmed it?
And exactly who confirmed it.
You know what I mean?
But the thing is
because with HIPAA laws, like I said earlier, with HIPAA laws, you can't release names and stuff. So you just have to take their word for it that somebody died from it.
But I don't see media panic every snowstorm.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm so used to hearing it. And, we're going to get 30 inches of snow because of where we live. We're going to get 50 inches of lake effect. Make sure you're ready to dig yourself out, and it never happens. I mean, look at this winter. Have we even had a winter this year?
You know what, though? 200 years ago, they knew about this because one of the things that several of the Founding Fathers said is that protecting you will be the means they use to steal the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
They did this hundreds of years ago. They've been doing this forever. So why should it be a shock now? You know?
And the thing is that I don't want to say this. If the left gets their way, especially like
which left, the Democrats or the Republicans?
and I know you feel that way.
I'm going to explode your audience there. Yeah.
Again, Joe is not only a Q follower. I'm going to have them hating you.
Yeah.
Joe is a libertarian. Joe says I fall into the libertarian group. I don't claim to be part of any party. I just vote for the guy who's watching out for us, not illegal. Listen, you know what? People criticize me, yell at me about talking about illegal aliens, and we should deport them, or, they're separated from their children. They go to jail. You know what? If I go to jail, I'm separated from my children. If I break the law, I'm separated from my children. I am tired. Guess what? If you're not an American citizen, you don't have the rights of an American. If I go to Mexico, I'm not under American rule. I'm under Mexico's rule, correct?
Yeah, see, that's where the aspect that you're not libertarian.
And what's that? Open
See,
borders and martial law?
See, no, listen. See, I would say,
anarchy.
We are causing them to cross the border and come north. We caused that. We made drugs illegal. We created drug cartels down there, and then with Fast and Furious, Barack Obama's administration sent them tons of weapons down there and armed them.
Dare talk bad about Mr. Obama?
Yes. So they created it. They armed them, and then they're like, "Well, why are they coming north?"
Listen.
Why is it? So, if they legalized drugs and didn't arm those people down there, we wouldn't have this problem. People wouldn't be traveling thousands of miles to cross a border.
First of all,
it works in the north, right? We don't have problems with the north.
But here's my question, Joe. Here's my question, Joe. Is now Mexico wants to close the border to stop the spread of the coronavirus, and every liberal is okay with it. But America can't close their own border? Then we're racist if we want to close the border from illegal aliens? I don't have a problem. We're all foreigners to this land, every one of us. We might as well say, immigrants. My family's had problems with them ever since we came to America. That don't make no sense. We all came to America. Our families did. Unless you're Native American. But you want to talk about a real massacre. Man, I jerked that wheel hard, didn't I? Wow. I don't even know where in the hell I'm at.
Yep. I just put the wheel in your hands and gave you a little poke, and there you went, right?
Joe knows how to piss me off.
That's right. Woo! Sport of mine.
Yes. But to get back to it, like you said yesterday, is you don't blame people for being in a panic because they're human.
Right.
You ain't buying it. And I still have a hard time buying your theory that Donald Trump can close down all these other countries. No, it's
not. I don't think it is him. Like I said, if you remember when he was elected, they said, "Well, here's your Secret Service detail," and he says, "Nope, I got my own guys."
So a Secret Service is closing down other countries?
No. I'm saying the people that rule the world.
We know.
They have all these people in government bought or blackmailed. Or
I buy that. I agree with that totally.
So why would you get elected and use their people to protect you? That's what happened with JFK.
Yep.
You don't think the Secret Service was in on that? So there's people working with Trump, and also another thing is people gave him a bunch of crap because every morning the president gets a daily intelligence briefing, and he's like, "Nope, I got my own guys for that."
Yeah.
Really? Who does he have? This is a whole.
I've heard. But I don't know if it's speculation or I've heard people's opinions on that, and I've heard people say the Marine Corps. I believe it's true that you don't need a president don't need congressional approval to send the Marine Corps anywhere he wants. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, apparently, only ones can arrest U.S. citizens is Marines.
United States Marines?
That's, if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
No.
But no, the Marines is the president's detail. But there are other good guys in the military that, and it's a worldwide network of good guys.
Now, when before Trump got into office, deep state was a conspiracy word, correct?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
And he pretty much blew that wide open.
It still is.
But he blew that wide open. We know that's real.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody's
when
using that.
Brennan sat there and he was in an interview, and there were a few people in attendance, and they said something about the deep state, and Brennan said, "Thank God for the deep state."
Yeah,
coming from Brennan, the head of the intelligence.
Former
head of the intelligence.
Okay, so the only way I can see this happening your way is if there's a bad deep state and there's a good deep state.
Yep.
Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah. There's a bad deep state and there's a good resistance.
You are the resistance.
Not to be confused with the Antifa resistance. Yeah. Yeah. But you think all that with Boris Johnson and stuff over there in England, so you think all that's happening through Trump? No, it's not. The with the Brexit and all that stuff, and
No, I don't. I just you got to understand.
They're simply working with him on that side as well.
I'm not as I don't want to say educated, but let's just say educated on that subject, on what you talk about. So I just like you, I question everything.
Oh yeah,
I don't,
and I even question some of the stuff, and it's like, this is what this, because they don't give us the information.
No,
you have to get a piece of information and then watch and see what happens, and maybe you throw the information out that you as being bad, or maybe you hold on to it further for more validation. Maybe and then maybe a couple things click together, and it's like, oh, I understand that now because of this bit,
Listen, I can watch CNN, MSNBC, and then turn to Fox and get totally different information. But there's some little bits of truth in everything. If it's a total big unbelievable lie, no one's going to buy it.
Exactly.
But the thing is if I watch both, I still don't have the truth. So that's where critical thinking comes in, and we just don't have that in the United States anymore. Is critical thinking, and for thinking for yourself, and that's why I don't discredit a guy that says, I listen to Q, or I listen to Alex Jones, or I listen to Fischer, I listen to Joe Novak. I think,
but the thing of this too, though, is you gotta believe that the good guys are gonna put misinformation out there too.
Oh yeah, to throw off the bad guys.
There was a scene. You ever saw Smokey and the Bandit?
Am I a red-blooded American? Yes.
Yeah. I kind of figured you did. So there was a scene where the Bandit was driving, in his Trans Am, and Frog's in the passenger seat. And on the radio, there's a prostitute standing in front of like a camper. And she's like, "Hey, Bandit, we're out here, and we'd like to support you and stuff, and why don't you come on by?" And he's like, "I'm too pooped to pop," and she's like, "Oh yeah, come on by, come on." He's like, okay, I'll come by.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and he just keeps on driving. And I didn't understand it. They were right in front of everybody playing a little game, and nobody caught it. And then in the next scene, they show, a police pulling up while Sheriff Buford T. Justice is dragging somebody out in handcuffs and saying, "I got the bandit, I got the bandit." And that's when you kind of realize what happened. They were setting him up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was the use of misinformation. They knew it. They were playing back and forth. So I don't want to fall into those traps too.
But
because Q is a good guy, but he will throw out, or he or she,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Q is Melania Trump, you know. But you know, they can use that as well. You know.
Oh yeah.
And if I was made a fool of for their benefit, for the good guys' benefit, that's okay. You know.
And that's
I will accept that.
And you know what? And that's how I feel about people saying that, people that are taking, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but 2 months down the road, I'm sure we'll be doing, or I'm not sure, but hopefully I'm wrong. And 2 months down the road, we're doing a podcast and you say, boy, you were overreacted. What a fool. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with I'm okay with making that mistake.
Because I'm saying right now I don't know.
And no one does.
I'm just telling you the information that I've picked up and what I feel, what I believe, you know. So yeah, I very possibly could be wrong, but should I be afraid to get out there and say what I believe?
No,
you know?
no, absolutely
like
not.
Because because of the information that I picked up here and there, you know. And there's some stuff you can verify. Like I said, you can go to pacer.gov and look at all those sealed indictments.
But you know what?
It's really rough to go through.
What's sad is, because it takes some effort. That makes it rough. Here's the thing. That's what's wrong with the United States today, is that, you know what? No one will. Very few will.
Yeah.
I like to think the people that listen to us will. But other than that, there's very few Americans. I mean, people say they don't... Listen, this is what I'm tired of. I want to know when Americans became such pussies. That's what I really want to know.
Yeah.
When did Americans become such cowards? Well, really?
We've all been brainwashed. We've all been brainwashed our whole lives.
But here's my point.
It's been the last few years that I've been unbrainwashing, you know?
But men were men. And I'm sorry, ladies, if you find that offensive. Men were men. And we stood up for the family.
Most of them.
Yeah. I mean, but if you weren't and you were walking around like a Nancy, you got a fist in your mouth.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm tired of it because people say, "Oh, politics are boring," and I don't want to talk about politics because there'll be an argument. Good. When was argument bad? Politics ain't boring. You're a pussy, and you're afraid to offend somebody. Offending somebody isn't a crime. It's not a crime, people.
Thomas Jefferson said, freedom is not free. The price you have to pay is never-ending vigilance. You always got to be on your toes if you want to be free. As soon as you let your guard down, your freedoms are usurped, you know?
And we've talked about this, you and I and Ed, several times. We can blame Nancy Pelosi and Shifty Shift and all these crooked Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, which are devil-worshipping people. I mean, they're devil worshippers. You may not believe in the devil,
I don't know,
but you know what? They do. They do. Yeah. And they worship him. And here's the thing. Here's the thing, Joe, is that we can blame them. But I don't. Who I blame is us. Us as Americans. We said it. Yeah. We've seen it. We know it to be true. Here's the difference between us and our grandparents. They didn't have the information we have now. They didn't have the resources we have now. Now, we know what they're doing. And we sit around and we do nothing about it. We do nothing. And I'm not calling for violence. That's not what I'm calling for. I'm calling for you to hold their damn feet to the fire. We don't hold them accountable. We don't say.
There's another aspect which, I've heard people speculate. Some of the people that aren't standing up and saying things, but they fully believe this. The whole deep state thing and stuff like that. What some of people that I've heard, and I can see this point, is that, there's, I don't know if there was a book or something, kind of like the, 1984 and stuff like that. There was a book or something about what they did was they had a good guy and a bad guy, right? And a lot of people were standing up behind the good guy and fighting for their freedom and stuff like that. And then it turns out the good guy was a plant.
Yeah.
And everybody that stood up behind him, it's like, okay, we just wanted to find out which one of yous we were going to have to go on. Yeah. Right. So now we're taking you all to the FEMA camps,
and here's the thing. I think that's what Trump does.
Yeah.
President Johnson.
Find out who
President Johnson, who was a pig. If you've done any research on Johnson, Lyndon Baines Johnson, you know he was just a cocksucker. He was a filthy, dirty, rotten human being. Filthy. We talked about the Federal Reserve, and I believe he was behind Kennedy's assassination, hooked up with the Federal Reserve, and other people. There was no shortage of people that wanted Kennedy out of the way. There's no shortage. I mean, people say, well, the CIA did it. Oh, yeah. The Mafia, yeah. There's no... What I can tell you is Lee Harvey Oswald didn't do that himself. Some high school dropout in a book depository building, or as Joe would say, suppository.
Yes. Book suppository. I don't like reading, so...
Yeah, I mean...
That's the best way to learn, book suppository.
Fuck books! But Lyndon Baines Johnson said something that was outstanding. I mean, was profound to me. And you never think like this, but this is why they're where they're at. Better to have your enemies inside your tent pissing out than your enemies outside the tent pissing in.
Yep. And I think of that when people say,
boy, is that true.
Around Donald Trump that went to prison. Yeah, maybe they were there for that reason, Come on in, work for me. Now I got you. Go
in that case, people that are around Donald Trump that went to prison, look at these people that we just brought up. Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton. These people all did crimes which was much worse than Roger Stone, yet he's going to prison.
And I think Roger Stone is
much more. Isn't it convenient that they just lost General Flynn's records?
Yeah,
isn't that convenient?
I know, they are. Yes. Because they're digging for him. It's like, and General Flynn, I'm sure he's a patriot, no doubt about it. I believe General Flynn was the bait.
Oh, he was set up by the FBI so bad.
I don't think he was. I think he was the bait, and they thought they were setting him up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
He put himself out there to be set up to trap them. That's what I think.
Well, then, Roger Stone, they say, lied to Congress. All right, I'm not a big fan of liars, but here's the thing: you're going to go to prison for lying to liars? Adam Schiff lied about everything. The Steele dossier was a lie, but Roger Stone's going to prison, and Adam Schiff can't go to prison because that son bitch is in Congress. So they have a free ticket to lie to the people that elected them.
It's like when the police pull you over, the police are trained to lie to you. Then if you lie to them, you're in trouble. What? So that's why you say nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's for another show.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to get pulled over anytime I'm out on the street. But yeah, I have questions about your theory, and yeah, I'm questioning this whole Kung Fu flu.
I have questions about my theory too.
I mean, it just seems like a large, and understand my position. It just seems like a big stretch, man.
But it's like I've been expecting something in the way of martial law or something like that. And then this comes along.
Oh, we're getting it. We are getting it.
It's like, that is martial law, basically, but they're not saying it is.
When they're telling you to close down your business, when they're telling you to do stuff, it is a form of martial law. You can't, you can't.
And saying they're going to shut down flights and all that stuff, they don't want people running.
Yeah.
And, that might, and that kind of, because Q says, trust the plan, trust the plan, trust the plan. And then Q is behind the wall.
But here's my point, Joe. These people that we're talking about...
I'm thinking whatever the thing with the wall is, there's got to be a reason for it, and I just don't see it yet.
Listen,
unless it's to keep people in the country, you know what I'm saying, from running out of the country.
It's like we've talked about before, Joe, is that, you make more money than the average American makes, but you're by no means rich. We are poor in the whole aspect of things, all right? You can't get a private jet. These people that we are talking about, they're not contained in the United... To think that they're contained, to think Steven Spielberg can't get on a plane and fly out of this country at any time he wants to is ridiculous. Don't you agree with that?
If there wasn't, how many, I heard in this country there's 10,000 planes take off and land a day. I mean, you think of all the planes going out of O'Hare and all of the airports around the country. If you got 10,000 planes in the air, how are you going to find that jet? So now you ground them all, and it's like, there's a jet flying over there. I wonder who that is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but with money comes power. I'm sorry, and it shouldn't be that way, but unfortunately, that's the world we live in. So that's my only thing.
But you think the good guys are going to go against the big state, but they're going to let Steven Spielberg buy them off?
That was an example, Joe. I could use Nell Carter, but no one in our audience probably remembers Nell Carter. It was a name of somebody with a lot of money.
Yeah,
but with that name, hold on. With that name comes another name that's really close to Steven Spielberg, and that's a gentleman we was talking about that's in Australia right now who says, and this goes along with your theory, that is saying that he and his wife had the coronavirus, and another gentleman ended up dead for saying something, I believe, for saying something about Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg. Why don't you fill us in on that and tell us, in case our viewers don't know about that, or our listeners, because we ain't running cameras, guys. You're listening. I mean, you can see my face, but I'm sorry about that. But go ahead, Joe. Tell
I just turned my I just turned my monitor off so I don't have to look at your face.
I appreciate that. Boy, and if you think I'm ugly,
not as much as I do.
But go ahead.
No, Isaac Cappy.
Let's go through the whole story here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not a film guy or a movie guy, so I don't know who this guy is, Isaac Cappy. But he's been in some movies. I don't know. I don't think he's like a lead actor. Was he? Maybe some people out there know. I don't know, but he went on a rant and was saying about he pointed out Tom Hanks as being a pedophile, and he said that Steven Spielberg was too. And there was some girl that she's another actress, and I don't remember her name, but she said something about I don't know if she's an actress, but she's some personality. And she said that when she was like 14, her dad sold her to Tom Hanks, as a child sex toy, she says, I wonder if I'll ever know how much my dad made off of me, But yeah, there were some things going on. And even with the awards, who was the guy at the awards show that was up there bashing on everybody?
I forgot. The guy off of The Office there,
he bashed Hanks and a bunch of other people out there. It's like, oh, you were all friends with.
You saw Tom Hanks' face, didn't you?
Oh yeah, it says you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Well, when this Isaac Cappy, I'm sorry. When this Isaac Cappy stated that, Tom Hanks, he posted some picture about it was a glove. What was that? A glove and something else. It was like
One glove
hat,
and a trash.
like a cap.
Yeah.
But it was a cap P or something like that. A cap and but the glove on he goes out. Is this roadkill on Route 66?
Oh wow.
And Isaac Cappy made a video, and he said, "I am not suicidal. I have no intention of killing myself." And then a few days later, on Route 66, supposedly he jumped off this bridge to his death. It wasn't that high up, though, and then a pickup truck ran him over. And I think the pickup truck backed over him or something, too. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, a pickup truck hit him. And the thing of it is there were two guys on that bridge with him that were spotted there. And they said, oh, he was trying to jump off, and we tried to stop him, which is bizarre. But they can't release the names of these guys, and you can't talk to them because they're minors. And whoever was driving the pickup truck was a minor, so you can't release their names. So there's no story there. And it was like a half hour. They cleaned the side up, and then bang, opened it back up. Now, I know there were like car accidents around LaPorte County where like a highway was closed for like 10 hours because it was a fatality or something,
Yeah.
But this is like cleaned up in a half hour. It's like, what? Nothing to see here. Open back up. And it's like, just some of the stuff doesn't make sense, But yeah, two guys, he said he wasn't suicidal, but then two guys were trying to stop him from jumping off the bridge, and he fell.
Yeah, that's fishy. And I agree with you. There's something behind
it was
that.
After Tom Hanks posted
Hold on, Joe. We have
a
new listener that just posted something on here. He says it's Cubionic. And they say, this person says, social engineering to take platforms where everyone has a voice to shun you not for following the recommended guidelines. No need to actually declare martial law. Society will demand it. And that's true. The more you brainwash, the more you buy. I mean, they're criticizing. CNN, MSNBC, all this fake news. They called it the Wuhan flu or the Wuhan virus for 6 weeks. President Trump calls it a foreign virus, and they're questioning why he said it and how racist he is. What in the hell is going on? Do these people not have a mind? What in the hell are they thinking? Is that brainwashing, or is that just dumbass people?
Yeah.
I mean, how can you say something for 6 weeks and it be okay, and then, I mean, that just shows the hatred. I've never seen this.
I have an analogy, is that
oh, boy.
you ever go fishing? Yeah. You go fishing, and you, I don't know, it's like with some of these, people, the Democratic, the progressive ones. Well, I'm just backing up from it. The progressive ones, it's like some of them, I try to feed them bits of information or to get them to see what I see,
Yeah.
And it's like some of them they just blow up and they whatever they saw on CNN and MSNBC and all those and refuse, because they've been it's been pushed on them hard. Well, I'm thinking about when you go fishing and you catch a fish, and it's like, it's too little. You just pull the hook up and you toss it back. But sometimes that fish swallowed that hook,
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing you can do but clip the line and toss it back. It's like, well, that one swallowed it too hard,
Yeah.
Some of these people just got the hook in their lip, Me, when you pointed out the fact that with the Building 7 going down. I'm like, what? You know, it's like, I had the hook in my lip.
See, Joe was pretty liberal back. What I would have considered a liberal back then, and Joe and I have been friends. We used to be brother-in-laws, but we've been friends for 20, 30 years. And we went out and had a drink where my wife worked, and we sat down, and I was bringing up 9/11 and how I didn't believe the story of 9/11, and he snickered at me and basically called me a nut. And I showed him a video, and he says, "Yeah, what does a building being imploded have to do with anything?" Said, "This is the third building that fell down on 9/11. This is Building 7. Well, what's Building 7? And then he found out.
I'd never heard of it. Never heard of it.
Then Joe did his research, and what'd you find out, Joe?
Yeah, it was there. It's like, there's a meme that I see. It shows the Twin Towers, and it says, never forget. And then off to the side, there's the Building 7, and it says, forget. It's like,
oh, yeah.
We don't want to talk about it. They want to bring that one up. It's Twin Towers, Twin Towers, Twin Towers. Everybody look over here. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. And when you look over there and you start thinking about it, wait a minute. It fell right down into its own footprint. That's the. And there was a university study that studied that it had to have been brought down. There's no other way.
There's a thing called.
And then all the other information. Where the ladies saying, "Oh yes, Building Tower 7 fell," and it's just standing in the background.
Yeah, that was
the police videos where they're like, "Hey, get back! They're going to pull this building," And,
yeah, that was on the BBC.
Yeah, and Silverstein saying the decision was made to pull the building.
Mm-hmm. So, I just got a update on closings. As of 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, Four Winds. I believe all locations will be closed until March 30th. And then they're going to reevaluate the situation, and we'll go from there. Like I said, folks, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it ain't a big deal. I hope it's like every other so-called pandemic we've had in our recent history, but something's going on. There's something behind it, Joe. I mean, if
and these numbers aren't near some of the other hype from Zeke and all that stuff.
And here's the thing: we're open. I mean, you can call in, you can type on the chat line what your opinion is, but there's something behind it. When Major League Baseball don't open, when flights are being canceled, when all these sports events, these people that are money hungry aren't getting their money.
Yeah.
We're not talking millions of dollars, Joe. We're talking billions with a B.
The CEO
there is something going on. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope it isn't a sickness, but what is it? And that's the fear, is that we don't know. I wish I could tell you. I don't know.
Okay, all this coronavirus stuff, right? But all of the CEOs that have been stepping down, the CEO of Northrop Grumman just stepped down.
I didn't hear this, and maybe I'm behind the times, but you told me yesterday that Bill Gates stepped down from Microsoft, from the board on Microsoft, and from the board of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. He stepped down from both of them. And why do you think that is?
I think a lot of these people are being forced to step down. But you can go to there's a site, resignation.info. Resignation or resignations. I think it might just be resignation.info.
We're gonna have Justin look that up real quick because you're usually wrong. So he's looking
Yeah. Like Pacer.gov. I was wrong on that one.
Yeah, but you know, guys, look this stuff up. Don't take our word for it. Look it up.
Yeah. And that's why I'm giving you the website.
Look it up.
Resignation.info.
If we don't have, usually if we don't have sources, we won't. I mean, of course, we question everything.
Yeah.
But then again, I've been
And
around a lot of liars.
I get this. I hear people talking about these resignations like, well, I got to go look for myself.
Yeah.
I might not dig real deep like, some of the people, but it's like, on the surface, if I see the information they're putting out, sometimes you can go, and type in searches and find other information on that, and it's like, yep, I kind of, I believe it now.
We have another...
and somebody that gives you this information, the more good information they give you, the more I tend to accept it, but
yeah.
Still, I like to go see for myself.
We have another new viewer, Q Bionic, says some of the footage that didn't get censored coming out of China, this is no flu, and if it is a virus like the flu is, this could end up being a seasonal thing, another major shift like 9/11 to how life is lived and freedom is stripped here in the United States. And we see that going on, guys. And Steve Benson says, right, 9/11 replay. I understand that, guys, that this closing of bars and, it's Brian McEwen. Man, that is a good name, Brian. Good job. I thought it was like somebody really, no, I'm just playing with you. No, I understand. Taking, closing these bars and restaurants and stuff, it is taking away, business owners' freedom. And what they choose to do.
And their livelihood.
I get it. But part of me
a lot of
also...
places are going to close.
Yes, they are.
Permanently.
Yes, they are. I totally believe that. And especially if we're looking at a 3-month quarantine or isolation.
Yeah.
But part of me wants to say, you know what? It's like, I don't... Fuck money. I'd rather be alive. Maybe that's the brainwashed part of me. I don't know, guys. I'm just telling you what I feel. That's all I can do. I want you to tell me. All I can do is be truthful with you. And I think the school closings, I think it's a good idea. I think the bars closing, I think it's a good idea. I think being hunkered down for a little while, if this is as bad as what they're saying, I hope it's not. I hope you can call me a fool in 2 months. I really do. I hope in 2 months you can say, boy, you overreacted. You're a fool. Man, I hope I'm a fool.
I hope they call me right.
And you know what? I hope they call you right too. I'd love to see these people we talked about go down.
Oh yeah.
But here's the
thing. I'd like
thing.
to see anybody go down, but not anybody.
if I'm wrong, no damage done. You know, if I'm right, God help us all. Yeah. Because we're going to see, our children are going to see things with their eyes we're not used to seeing as Americans. And it's already happening. Yeah. The way things are off the shelf. And you can't just, like you said yesterday, socialism is people waiting for food. And capitalism is food waiting for people. And that's a good analogy. Did you come up with that? Because I don't think so.
No, I did not. No, I did not.
I thought
there's a lot of quotes I throw out there. No. I don't know. I like to give credit to where I pick stuff up from. I don't know where I picked that up from.
You don't want to give no credit.
But I honestly, think they were talking about Bernie Sanders when they said that.
And, wow. Did you get to catch any of that debate there?
No, I did not.
Boy, was that a senior moment.
I saw one clip out of it where Biden was saying something about the N1H15 or something, or
All right, I got an update here, Joe. Let me get this out there. This goes back to the beginning of the show with the food pickup. These are the locations, people. So if you need to write this down for somebody who might be, shut up, Brian. If you are looking for take down this information for people that might need it with kids. The locations for food pickup. Again, this will be a drive-through style to ensure safety for all involved. This is available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. LaPorte High School, pickup in the front parking lot of I Street. That's right there by the clinic there, the doctor's offices. Riley Elementary School, pickup in front of parking lot at front door. Lincoln Elementary School, pickup on Jackson Street. Cars should line up in the drive. Heilman's Elementary School, pickup in staff parking lot off Philadelphia Street. And Kingsford Heights Elementary School, pickup in the bus lot off Knox Road. And that's what I've got so far. For those which, we have some kids still in this country that if they don't go to school, they don't eat. And that's oh, you were snoring at the Democratic debate. Oh, I thought you were snoring at me. Bastard. Talking to Mr. McEwen. Love you, buddy. But just to get that information out there, we know even in this country still that there's children for no reason going without food unless they go to school. And man, that's a shame, man. With all the money we spend, that are, and I'm going to go because I have a faith and I'm Christian, and I look at churches and I see their elaborate setups, and I mean, I can have church in the middle of a cornfield. All it is a gathering of people with the same faith. And I look at these elaborate setups that they have, and we have children that are starving in this country. It's a crying shame to me, and I think we should look at ourselves as Christians and say, what the hell are we doing?
You look at some of these mega churches, especially.
Oh, yeah,
like,
the
wow.
Joel Osteen churches. Oh, yeah, the best possible you. Only worry about you.
Yeah.
Q. Grumpy Old Men was better than the debates. Yes, that is true. But that's the whole thing with the food pickup. Any information we get, man, tune in every day. Like I said, we're on a 30-day quarantine here at In Your Faces Fisher, and we'll be giving you information as it comes in. I mean, if you want to sit through the fake news, go ahead. If you want to sit and listen to me blabber about shit, but we'll have fun and talk about other things besides criticizing Donald Trump. We'll talk about real problems and real solutions. Joe, do you have anything else to add, buddy?
Nope. I'm good.
You're good. Joe's done.
I'm damn good.
And if there's anybody out there who's a single,
nobody knows because
yeah, if there's a single lady out there who's interested in dating a good-looking fella,
but you can't really tell with all the tinfoil I got on, though.
Yes, he's like the Tin Man.
But under the tinfoil, yeah.
I mean, he's what I like to call man pretty. We got to get this man a girl. So keep him in mind when you are talking to your female friends. Anyway, Joe, it's great having you on, buddy, and can't wait till this thing's over with so we can get back together and do our regular
Yep.
routine.
Yes, absolutely.
And we will possibly talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
All right, buddy. You have a good one.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye.
Well, there you go, guys. That's another theory out there. I tend to lean towards what the doctors are saying. Yeah, they could be full of shit. I don't know, but I'd rather err on the side of safety than to speculate anything else. My family's more important to me, and honestly, all of you are more important to me. To tell you I know what's going on, and tell you that I have the facts. I don't. All I know is what I'm told by these people that went to college, went to school, and are educated in biology. I definitely ain't gonna go off, as I've said before, these Facebook self-proclaimed microbiologist. I mean, we have a person on that's in the medical field. We have another person, Joe, that who has other theories. If you have other theories, give us a call. Or if you disagree totally with everything we're saying, give us a call, 219-380-9918. Even if you want to talk about something else other than the Kung Fu flu, we would love to hear from you. And I'm not going to say the lines again because there's only one line, guys. If somebody's talking, you ain't going to get through. So the phone is open because we have a huge budget. But if no one calls here shortly, we're going to give our fun friend a call, as usual, Mr. Steve. So, Steve, if you're up and awake, get ready to do it. What the voodoo you do when we give you a call. Again, if you want to argue, if you want to get, we'd love to hear your, even if you agree with us, we'd love to hear from you. Again, if you have more information on anything going on that can help the community during this time of basically isolation, give us a call and share that information. I'll put this back up on the screen. Hold on one second. The number will be in the chat area once I figure out what I'm doing here. All right, I got it. Thanks a lot, Justin. You are no help. 9918. It is on the screen. The number is 219-380-9918. Again, if you have any speculation on what this is about, if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. But I see that no one's calling. We're going to give it a couple more seconds. I ain't going to beg people to call in, and we will just give Mr. Steve a call. And he's usually the last person we talk to, so we'll give you a few minutes after we're done talking to Steve and see if anybody has anything to say. Okay. But again, guys, there is, if my wife could come in here for a minute, I'd appreciate it, because I was told there was something at the Civic, but I guess I was wrong. I was misinformed. I don't know. I don't want to give you guys wrong information and you guys show up at the wrong place and you tell somebody the wrong place to go. But anyway, right now we're going to go to the phone and we are giving you a call. It'll already be ringing before you hear me call because there's a big ass delay there, Steve. So, let me try to find... Did I pass it? Man, I am a dumbass this evening. It's from being stuck in this house all day.
You weren't misinformed.
All right. Did you hear that? My wife said I was not misinformed. All right. Oh, We are calling. We'll see if he picks up. He may be sleeping. Yep.
Good day, Mike.
Hello, Steve. How you doing there, buddy?
Well, in my world, I'm waiting for the Geritol and the vitamin B and the vitamin C to all kick in.
All right. We called you to lighten up the mood here. So what's going on with Mr. Steve?
Oh, it's a little bit different as of yesterday. And today, in my world, I'll be finding out a little bit more. I have decisions to make.
Yep.
Far as my place of employment, it'll be up to me if I work or not.
Yes. And I mean, you obviously you were listening when Joe was on, and we both have respect for Joe. And a lot of times, I'm 90% of the time, I'm going to agree with Joe. All right, but no one agrees all the time, and I have a hard time believing this opinion that Joe has on this whole thing. Either way you look at it, there's something behind it, and it's not good. Whatever it is, it's not good.
I missed Joe's opinion. I was busy with my email, and I was also taking calls from...
Well, Joe believes that he's not afraid of the sickness. He don't believe it's like they say. He believes it's more has to do with indictments, closing down flights so they can arrest the people in the deep state, and I'm on
the fence with that. Either one, if you think about it, is applicable.
And it is, but here's my problem with the whole thing, and maybe somebody else could comment on it, is Trump don't have the power to shut down other countries.
No.
He don't have the power to make people die of a virus. 1,000. No. Because honestly, to this point, I think Italy's the only ones being honest about their death rate.
I think so too. I've been seeing warnings from the Trump administration on the news about they're warning us about misinformation from foreign countries, and he's actually talking about China.
Oh yeah, and China's saying
Beware of that.
The United States has caused this. They're just trying to deflect the blame from them because they don't want to be held responsible for the third virus that's been leaked out of a lab in their country in the last few years.
Right. But thinking outside the box, I mean, we've all heard the theories that's backed up by certain factual information that Obama sold this COVID virus to the Chinese during his tenure.
Yeah. Don't you blame Obama. Our listeners won't have nothing to do with that. Go ahead.
I'm merely stating what I heard.
Well, don't confuse us with facts.
True. And it's, I mean, if you're going to, and then on top of that, before he got out of office, he gave our internet to the UN,
Hey, what I mean, he held a high office in the UN, which is against the Constitution of the United States. But hey, we can do what we want when we're...
So, what I'm getting at actually is maybe that's what China's referring to. That the virus itself started here.
And we made them release it. And here, guys, I'm not saying that they released it on purpose. I really ain't. But they do not. They do not value. I don't know if anybody saw, and I don't know if you saw. I know you're a listener of Alex Jones. I don't know if you saw Ted Nugent's interview with Alex Jones.
I didn't get a chance to. I started to look into that, and I'm going to.
I advise anybody listening or anybody who listens post broadcast to look that up. You may not like Alex Jones. Unfortunately, I don't give a shit what. I like it. I don't care what people think of me. I don't care. Obviously.
He's a patriot in my book.
But it was very interesting. And anybody who wants to say that Mr. Uncle Ted isn't a patriot can kiss my ass, because he is. Nugent is a patriot. I mean, he may be an asshole, but he's a patriot. I've heard many things about him being an ass, but that's regardless. He is a patriot.
He's been on the Piers Morgan show numerous times. And should I say he was a bit entertaining on there, too.
And so was Alex Jones. If you haven't seen that, that was... I believe Alex Jones was the beginning of the end of Piers Morgan.
Yes, he was.
Also Ben Shapiro.
Yep.
I mean, Ben Shapiro handed the man U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights and handed it to him and said, you might want to read this. My favorite quote by Nugent is, they ask him why he needs 50 AR... in the words of the Democrats, AR-47s.
Yeah, AR-47.
Or AR-14s.
Yeah, right.
And Ted Nugent's response is always, it's not called the Bill of Wants. It's not called the Bill of Needs. It's called the Bill of Rights. I have a right to own that. So
that's right.
That's why.
That's right. Well, unless you live in Champaign, Illinois.
Yes. No, I'm hearing Joe brought up something about gun sales in Indiana not being allowed. I don't buy that for a minute.
I haven't seen that one. Joe might have been referring to Champaign, Illinois. The mayor of Champaign, Illinois, made it. She banned the sale of guns, ammo, and alcohol, and under that same bill, she has the right to turn off their electric, their gas, and their sewage.
Listen, people, I've said it before. I've said it many times. You want to believe that Indiana ain't one of the greatest states in the union? We could be facing Illinois. That state is a shithole state. Go ahead.
Yes, it is.
What a piece of work that state is. Wow.
But Indiana is really catching, should I say, political pressure from places like Illinois, because our gun laws are different. And it could be that's what Joe was referring to.
I just want people to realize, and the people of Illinois, I'm not calling the people of Illinois terrible people. That government has a lot of problems. And listen, if you choose to live there, fine. Originally, that's why we have different states. If I don't like the law in this state, I can move to another state. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Illinois. So anyway, where were we, Joe? All right, I'm sorry, Steve.
I don't. I kind of got lost in it myself.
Yeah, I grabbed a hold of that wheel and I jerked her into the ditch again.
Well, that's all right. I mean, we're still on, talking about American rights.
I was talking about Alex Jones and Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent said, they say all men are created equal, but not all societies are created equal. I want these leftists to think about China and how they're building up China, and it's not China's fault. These people, once a year, I don't know if you know it, you can look this stuff up on YouTube and these videos. They have a thing called a Dog Meat Week celebration where they cook dogs and they eat them. And their belief is, and it's been a belief for hundreds of years, is the more pain, the more agony you put that dog through killing it before you eat it, the more medicinal the meat is. So you can watch these ruthless human beings burning these dogs alive
And I think it was also their culture where they this is crazy. They actually bring a monkey to the table, and they put this monkey in a cage, and its head sticks above the table.
You know, and I've seen that where they beat the monkey to death and then eat the brain. But,
exactly,
you know,
yes.
and I don't know about that for sure, but I do know that this is the culture that had the Bataan March. And marched our troops and killed them in groves. I mean, but then again, half these communist people on the left are probably happy Americans died.
Yeah,
because them were real men, and we can't have real men in this country anymore. We can't have men with balls in this country that ain't afraid to speak their mind because it's not politically correct. If you ain't cool with a tranny bouncing your kid on your knee or bouncing your kid on their knee during story time with their cock hanging out of their dress, you are just a racist son of a bitch. My thing is, how dare they sexualize my child?
Exactly.
That's where the problem is. It seems like this whole world has gone mentally fucking ill, and these these liberals just they fall for it.
I know that's one of the first things, and I mean.
And what really gets me the worst, Steve, is that they're afraid. They you know, there are people that know it's wrong, but they're afraid to speak up because they're afraid they're going to offend pedophiles.
Right. There's
so I'm supposed to be afraid to offend a pedophile?
Yeah, that's what they got, and it falls under a little thing known as politically correct.
Yeah, and
which is to me a gag order on free speech. That's all it is. It's plain and pure.
No. What? I'll tell you what political correctness is something that makes every one of us a liar. We're not because we won't say what we think.
It's also, you know, they're trying to silence free speech. You can't say this. You can't say that.
Oh, yeah, it's hate speech. There's no such thing as hate speech. All speech is protected. Listen, popular speech don't need protection because everybody's saying it. It's the unpopular speech that needs protection. It's the things that people don't want to hear that need protection. Everybody's on board with these trannies bouncing little kids on their knees, except for real men. Men that love their kids, love their wife, take care of their family.
Yeah, that's called drag queen story time.
Yeah, drag queen story time. A bunch of fucking clowns. Bunch of fucking clowns. I can't.
And here's what gets me. The biggest amount of it takes place in Austin, Texas, out of all places.
Texas. But there's a different Austin, Texas, and you go to Austin and you go to Dallas or other. Them are two different worlds.
Houston, Fort Worth.
Yeah, you go to them places. That's two different worlds. Houston,
exactly.
Austin is one of the most liberal because everybody from California is moving to Austin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard different talk show hosts talk about that. Hey, they're turning our state blue. It's purple now.
Oh yeah, and it's true.
They've all but wrecked California. Now that it's ruined and wrecked, you got feces all over the streets, needles, hypodermics. People are actually defecating in front of businesses, restaurants. Now that they've got that ruined.
Well, Steve,
into the next state.
We're going to be coming out with T-shirts here in the next couple weeks, and we're going to take a note from InfoWars store on one of the first ones that we sell, and it's going to say, "Don't California my Indiana."
Exactly.
And that's what we're going to have.
I got a better one yet. Let's pick a place a little closer. Don't Illinois my Indiana.
There you go. Maybe 2 of them would be a good idea to start out with. And we're gonna start selling those to fund the operation here, because it's, especially with these closures and stuff. I'm self-employed. My wife, unfortunately, worked at a bar, so the income in our house is limited to how much I can sell from my house.
Right.
So, this is an expensive gig here, and, I don't do it for money. I don't want to. Everything that we get will be put back into our operation here. The reason that we don't have, I see we have a whole bunch of audience listening, but the reason that we are doing just audio all week is we want to perfect. We've been having problems when we do audio and video at the same time. We're just not as tech savvy as we thought we were. We got Justin.
All you got to do is figure out the bugs.
And I think we got the audio bugs worked out now. I think everything's going smooth, and that's what we want. We want to get this down, and then we'll move to video and audio. And if we have a problem with the video, we're just going to shut it down and finish with audio. So,
and you got to. To me, I think you ought to come up with a thing like a document cam shot or something like that.
Yeah, well, if you buy me the camera, I'll do it.
I don't know what that entails, to be honest with you.
Well, let's maybe you can promote our T-shirts when we get them printed up, and you can sell a few, and maybe we can get us a few more cameras and better cameras.
I got a better idea. I'm going to go to Walmart and do something that nobody else has thought about.
What's that?
I'm going to go buy me a whole bolt of white cotton material, like T-shirt material.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to cut it up in squares, put it in plastic sealed bags, and go out in the front yard and put a sign up, recyclable toilet paper for sale.
There you go. That sounds like a moneymaker.
I mean, my shelf will be empty in an hour.
I remember when you used to do that with condoms, and when you got done with them, you just shake the fuck out of them. And then you'd reuse. Just. I'm sorry, this is a family program. No, it's not.
If not, it's back to the Sears catalog.
There you go. And you know what? Our grandparents did it for a long, long time. I mean,
yeah, there was one that said I could look out my back door and see your grandma's toilet.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It sat there for years. In fact, where that little shed is that Brian used to play music in.
Yep. So
it was right behind that. Her son used to dig, that hole was full, so he'd cover that one up and go dig another one.
Yep, and that's how they lived. See, the thing that's scary is we're seeing things that we've never seen before, and if we had to go back to that, can you imagine how our communities would act?
Oh my God, these snowflakes had never lived through it.
Oh boy, and I feel sorry for these metrosexuals that don't know how to use a firearm, and if, God forbid, if this Kung Fu flu gets as bad as what they're saying, would have to hunt for their food.
Yeah.
Of course, they want to take our guns away, so we can't do that.
Well, like I said, there's different places where they're doing it now as we speak. Illinois is one of them. I believe I sent that article to you.
I've gotten flooded with articles since we started this. I'm getting more articles than what I can read. Well, I can't read at all, so one article is too much for me. But yeah, Steve, we any thoughts on what's going on? Well, I mean, as far as you, so let's talk to you and about you. I know how much you like to make it about you. It's let's. What
Actually,
are you? Go ahead.
Actually, you are more interesting than I am in my book.
No. You guys are what's interesting. A lot of times I run out of things to talk about, and I got to read the stuff on the screen. But really, Steve, tell me what are you doing? I mean, you have to make a choice whether you're going to work or not. My question is: are you going to err on the side of safety? Or are you going to throw caution to the wind? What's your gut telling you?
Well, Joe Public is not going to be there if I choose to work. The only people that are going to be there are employees.
All right.
And I'll be paid, and I'll be compensated time and a half for every hour worked after the date of closure. I mean, I might as well open a can of worms. I know we have a thing about social media and stuff, but what we're talking about here is strictly public news.
Yeah. Well, we're not naming places. We don't have to name the organization or where you are, but
anybody's listening or watching, I'm sure they've connected the dots by now.
My question, my thought process is right now where we've talked where you work, you get just as much foreign people in, and way more people than most airports, unless you're talking about O'Hare.
Oh my God!
You have.
Oh my God!
My thoughts on this is, unfortunately, if it's as bad as what they say, the damage is done.
It's exactly. You and I agree there. In fact, I told an employee that the other day. I told him, "Hey, you better think." They were concerned. Well, they don't want to protect us. I said, "Well, on that note, there, it's a little bit too late." First of all, I mean, it hasn't been that long ago that we found out about this COVID-19 anyway.
Yes.
So how long was this COVID-19 running around before we found out about it?
And that's where I feel like we've been lied to.
Me too.
I don't believe we're being lied to by Donald Trump. I believe that we're being lied to by the deep state. I believe that and I've said this, I believe I had this Kung Fu flu months ago.
Well, like Reagan said, the problem we're having isn't in government. The problem we're having is government.
Exactly. And the thing is that what I feel Trump's doing right now is he's staying out of the way. Listen, he's a business mogul. He isn't a scientist. He isn't a doctor. He knows what he's good at and he knows what he's not good at. He's staying out of the way. He's letting these people the professionals do their job. And the only thing, people are saying he's not telling us nothing. He's keeping it from us. He knows as much as we do, I believe. The only thing that's going to tell us is time. There's one thing missing in all this. Time.
Time.
And time is what we need.
Exactly.
I mean, he's not a clairvoyant. He can't see what the future holds. And unfortunately, from all the experts, that's all we can do is wait and see. And if it's nothing, if it is a false flag of some sort, all we have is time. The only thing that's going to bring that out is time. If it is another 9/11 to take away more rights, as McEwen said, we won't know until time. But the thing we talked about with Joe is we have to hold their feet to the fire. We can't let them pass another Patriot Act. We can't let them take more rights. The ones who's in control of our rights is us.
Exactly.
The Bill of Rights is only as good as the paper it's written on, unless we enact them. If we ain't putting them into practice, they're no good. George Bush Jr. was right when he said, and a lot of people don't know he said this, but this is a quote from George Bush Jr. after 9/11, and he was doing the Patriot Act, and somebody questioned him, what about the Bill of Rights? He said the Bill of Rights and the Constitution is just a GD piece of paper.
That's right.
And that's all it is, unless you are living and practicing your rights every day. And listen, it's not only the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. It's all of them that are important.
Yeah.
And,
well,
go ahead.
I have friends and family that are real concerned about me, basically because of my age.
Oh, I'm concerned about you. It's not. It's not so much your age, but your health. You smoke as I do. I'm concerned about myself. I'm in my mid-40s. I'm overweight. I smoke like a freight train, and none of that's good.
No.
You've had walking pneumonia so many times, you have scar tissue in your lungs. And
that's not good.
And the thing is, from what I'm hearing about this Kung Fu flu is, once you get this fibrosis in your lungs, the damage is done. Even if you survive, the damage is long term.
Yes, it is.
So
and who's to say that hasn't?
Go ahead.
Who's to say that I don't have it? You know.
And that's the thing. Who says? And I heard yesterday that it was a 4-day incubation cycle for this. I found out today from I don't know if you heard when Kim called, our contact in the medical field, but she let me know that it's up to 8 days. And
and some are saying 15.
And here's my thing. About a week ago, it may have been a little over a week ago, I went to Four Winds Casino and was playing slot machines. Do you know how many surfaces I touched?
Quite a few.
Do you know how important hand washing was 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think I practice the hygiene that I'm practicing now then? No. Because we don't. We've got lackadaisical and we've gotten lazy, and unfortunately, if they're correct, we're all going to pay for it. And I'm just sitting here, and that's to tell you. And my wife, she worked in a bar, and I mean, a lot of people have come in there. I mean,
oh my God, yeah.
And here's my thing: I don't want to be part of the problem. The main reason we quarantine is because of an individual who that lives in our home, who has a compromised immune system and is elderly. But the other reason is we don't know if we're infected.
Exactly.
And if I'm tromping around the port, I could be the cause of, if this is true, I could be the cause of other people getting sick or dying. And I just don't want that on I don't want their blood on my head. So I'm going to wait a few more days. And again, I have a cough, but I smoke. And that's why I say don't freak out, people, if you catch a cold. Everybody's getting a cold. Everybody's getting the flu. It's that season. Are the symptoms there? Are you running a fever that won't break with medication? And I wanted to add, I found out, Steve, that ibuprofen, they're recommending do not use ibuprofen if you think you are infected. I don't know the reason behind it, but they're saying it can make it worse. Do not use anything anti-inflammatory. They're saying do not use.
You're gonna have to Send me some of that, will you?
Yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit more digging and research into that, but that's what I'm hearing. Again, that was a few days ago and things change, but that is what I've heard. I can have Justin look that up right now, so I'm not giving you any false information, but as soon as I look up COVID-19 and ibuprofen.
All right.
That's what I'm having Justin look up right now, and we'll see how many articles there is.
I imagine there's quite a few.
Do you invest in ibuprofen?
Yeah, tell him use duck, duck, go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PROPHEN.
Check this out. The Department of Homeland Security arrested 333 Chinese nationals entering the U.S. illegally since the coronavirus outbreak.
Well, we should let them go, and we should put them in the hospital and have the American taxpayer pay for their medical bills.
Oh yeah.
And while we're at it, let's throw some food stamps at them.
Exactly. Here you go. Here's your Medicare.
Yes. There is an article about should COVID-19 patients avoid ibuprofen, and the answer is they should. All anti-inflammatories.
All anti-inflammatories. Wow, that's a long list.
Yeah. So, just to get that information out there, because you know what, I'm as far as taking medication when I have a headache or I'm sore, I might as well drink a glass of water than take Tylenol, because Tylenol does nothing for me. I take ibuprofen for everything.
Only time I use ibuprofen is when I get it into my back.
Yeah.
Because it shrinks that muscle back down to where it should be.
Yeah. Well, I use it for every ache and pain I have, so.
Well, I can you take aspirin?
I'm sure I can.
Well,
I can only take it rectally, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Through a straw, blown.
And then I got the answer for you.
Steve, it's not because I enjoy it. It's because I have problems swallowing pills.
Oh. Yes. And while you're at it, you might as well let a hamster go in there, too.
How'd you know? I feel like it gets it up in there where it hits the bloodstream quicker.
Remember that craze they had going? Oh, my God. Nothing wrong with this picture, folks.
No.
This is normal activity.
But anyway, Steve, I wanted to thank you, and man, you always bring lividity to the program, and you make us laugh and make us smile. Yet we still talk about current events and things that are going on, but we appreciate you. We're all praying for you.
Before we get off of here, I'm going to give you something that you actually haven't thought about.
All right.
You were talking about, the Tylenol has no effect for you. I could tell you something that'll be 3 times as good as that Tylenol extra strength.
What's that?
And it's called BC powder.
BC powder. That sounds like something from the 1920s.
Actually, it's an older medication.
And I don't have to grind it up to get it blown up me?
It's already ground up. It comes in little packages. It looks like sticks of gum, and it's just powdered aspirin.
Boy.
840-some milligrams of it.
You know, my wife will be glad to hear that because she's tired. She gets frustrated with that because a lot of times when she's blowing it, I blow first, and it goes right back in her mouth. So this powder just eliminates one step.
Yes, it does.
So she won't have to grind it up, at least.
When I get a chance, I got a pack here. I'll just take a picture of it and send it to you so you know what you're looking for.
All right, brother. I appreciate it.
And it also has caffeine in it. Not only will it cure your ailments at the time. Now I use it when I get a backache, but it's not a fix like the ibuprofen is. I'll take that for get rid of the pain immediately, but I'll follow it up with some ibuprofen to take the swelling down.
Man, we've gotten into some geriatric shit, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Now,
but hey,
DC
Steve,
powder, you can dump it in your water. You can dump it in, in your coffee or whatever it is you drink. Or
Steve, this is starting to sound like the Democratic debates now.
Yes, it
is. Yeah, we've gone astray. But Steve, I just want to tell you, I hope you make the right choice. God be with you, and we'll be praying for you. We all enjoy you. I've gotten a couple comments and messages that people, who's this Steve, and they love hearing you. So we'll keep in touch with you, and we'll give you a call tomorrow and see what your decision was.
Yeah, I'm going to be a while thinking on it because I have no problem in, should I say, closing the package or buttoning the place up.
Yeah.
Now, and I got to admit, you're talking about any hour that I go in there and work after the date of closure is time and a half, period.
Yeah, I mean, they have to entice you with money, but I have different thoughts, man.
Oh, I'm on the fence with it. I really am.
My life is my life. My family's life's more important than any amount of money you can give us.
Well, in a way, I'm kind of like Joe. I'm on the fence with it. I just don't want to let this panic me. Is it real or ain't it?
My thing is that I don't want to be on the wrong side of this. I know I'm saying it ad nausea, but I just don't want to be on the wrong side of this. And if I play it safe, I'm safe. I'm not hurting anybody. I mean, I understand people are under financial stress, but I imagine once I get to that place, I have to make a decision.
Yes.
But I'm going to do some praying, and for right now, we're good. I know everybody has different situations out there. And that's why we're sharing. That's why I hope people keep tuning in, is because we're going to give you information of where you can get food, where you can get help, what the CDC's saying. And we ain't going to give you a line of shit. We're going to tell you. And if we don't know that it's... Go ahead.
I got a hot one for you. I'm sorry. Speaking of that virus, I just got this from my son before. I spoke to him before you and I talked.
Yeah.
And his ex-girlfriend, the one that he has his son Tyler by.
Yeah.
She has a son that goes to Tesling.
Yes.
And they got sent home because there was a possible case of the COVID virus there.
All right. Well, they're closed. I mean, LaPorte County schools are closed.
Right, and the word has it there was a case of the virus there at Tesling,
or someone who was around somebody with the virus, or
exactly. So my grandson is staying at. He's not coming to my son's house for a while because my son has a newborn at home.
Yeah.
That has cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
Not a good idea to get it right.
No, we like I said, we want to err on the side of safety. That's what side we want to be on. We want to be on the right side, and if you can afford to stay home, if you can keep people away from the elderly, if you can keep people from coming in and out of your house, from going out and about, use your brain. That's that's all you can do. It's not a panic thing. I mean, like I said, the bars may be closed. They may end up closing the movie theater. I know concerts are being canceled, but family isn't canceled. Our show ain't canceled yet. They haven't kicked us off here yet.
Well, I took the precaution when I answered the phone. I made sure I had my rubber gloves on and my mask.
Well, there you go. Yeah, because it can be transferred through your phone.
Yes, it can.
That is false information. We were putting out false information.
Well, like I say, you got to have a little fun with satire. You know my sense of humor, anyway.
Yep, we do.
And you also know my luck. I mean, Mike, if I stopped smoking today, I would get run over with a tobacco truck.
Yeah, you probably would, Steve. You probably would. Well, Steve, I'm going to let you go, buddy. We're going to end this show here. We appreciate you, and again, God be with you, and we'll be praying for you. And we love having you on. The viewers or listeners love having you on, and we appreciate everything you do for us and lightening the mood around here.
Yes, I'll do the best that I can. I mean, I don't got a snap trap mind like some of these radio talk show hosts, but it's still in my memory. I know right from wrong,
and that's all we need.
Yeah.
Right from wrong, and to do the next right thing. That's what I've told my kids growing up. Is all you have to do is the next right thing. People can talk shit about you. People can say things about you, but if you know you did the next right thing, you know it's not true. And living with yourself is half the battle. Fuck everybody else.
Exactly.
So, Steve, you have a good one. You be safe out there, and we'll talk to you later, bud.
All right, partner.
All right, thanks so much.
Thanks for the call, Mike, like always.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, there you have it, everybody. If you've been waiting to get on, you can give us a call. 200. I just got a message from Joe. If you've been listening, we heard his theories, and he was looking up the sealed indictments while we were on the phone with Steve, and he just messaged me that 298 senior public officials were just arrested in Saudi Arabia. So maybe there's something to what Joe's saying. Who knows? Like I said, and like Joe said, we don't know. But we ain't going to yank your chain and blow smoke up your ass telling you that we do. We don't. And that's just how it is. All we can do is give you the information we have, give it to you, you decipher it, you research it, and you know what? We trust you. We trust you to make the right decision. I'm making the right decision for me, and Joe and Steve's making the right decision for them. So, yesterday was a day of prayer, a national day of prayer, and I'm just asking, you know what, every day should be a national day of prayer, especially in times like this. The only way we can get through this is with God's help, and no matter what it is, it's not clear what's going on. I understand that. That's what makes it scary. But the thing that we do know is that we're in this together. And if we stick together, we pray for one another and trust God and help each other out and do the next right thing. No matter what happens, we'll be better for it. And that's what we need to do. I know my mouth gets away from me, and I say, you know, I am a fierce cursor as far as I have a mouth like a sailor. But when it all comes down to it, to use Ed's analogy, spoiler alert, God wins. and he wins every time. So keep your fellow man in prayer. Keep this community, keep LaPorte County, keep our state, one of the greatest states in the union, in prayer. Our leaders, pray for our president, pray for our families, and most of all, love each other and love your family. That's all we got for today, guys. God be with you. God bless you. And we'll see you next time. But that's all we have here with In Your Face with Fisher. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.